Welcome back, everyone. Lights, camera, action. It's Make Our World Your Runway. You know, this is the weekly show that interviews the most fascinating individuals from the world of modeling, pageantry, fashion, beauty, business, and even the entertainment industry. And today we are going into the entertainment industry. But before we do that, we always want to thank the sponsors that make this weekly show so possible. And that is the Global Trade Chamber, 100 Successful Women in Business, Lux Salon, Queen Beauty Network, the Tower Club, Royal Dames, Vita Designs, Casa Calabria, and the Bangladesh American Chamber of Commerce. So once again, sponsors, thank you so much for making this show possible. And remember to subscribe to the Global Trade Chamber YouTube channel so that you can see all the shows from Make Our World Your Runway and, of course, success stories. And as always, I highly recommend that our viewers tune into success stories because this show features the most fascinating women in the world of business and community service, from their humble beginnings to where they become community advisors and even world entrepreneurs. You're going to love their stories. So once again, remember to subscribe to the Global Trade Chamber YouTube channel so that you can see all the shows from Make Our World Your Runway and success stories. And we do want to tell you to get ready for some exciting conferences, speakers, and awards, as 100 successful women in business and the Global Trade Chamber will come to a city near you. And that next city is going to be Sunrise, Florida. It's going to be on May 14th. It is going to be at the Sunrise Civic Center. It's a Women Business Expo. It will be fabulous. It's a full day of business conferences, networking, and connections designed to help women grow, scale, and lead. Now, these are free events, but I can tell you from my own experience, they do sell out very quickly. So make sure that you get on the list and you can attend. Go to the event at globaltradechamber.com or dial 954-839-8866. Make sure you register because this is one event you do not want to miss. And also, there are speaker availabilities. And also, if you want to be an exhibitor, it's a great way to promote your business. And if you want to be a speaker, it's a great way to tell people about your business. So once again, May 14th, Sunrise Civic Center. And if you want to be part of that, please go email event@globaltradechamber.com or dial 954-839-8866 for all the information. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as we say, lights, camera, action, it's on to our show. And this fabulous, fabulous lady has been on my show once before, and she just did an amazing event. Okay, it was number 11, Hollywood Salsa Fest. She is the Queen of Salsa. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome once again to Make Our World Your Runway, Melina Almodovar. Melina, welcome to Make Our World Your Runway.
Thank you, Angela. Super excited to be here. Still recuperating from last weekend, not this past weekend, the one before. We're trying to rest a little bit. It was an epic event, and now we're very, very grateful for everybody to have that came. We had over 10,000 people that showed up all day. That is confirmed by the city of Hollywood. So we have proof that there were more than 10,000 people that came during the day. So we're really excited and grateful to everybody that was there, the sponsors and the city of Hollywood and Broward Cultural Commission,
Yes.
all the artists and the people that came. It was amazing. Really was great. Thank you for being there too. You were there too.
Oh, no, that's one show I don't want to miss. And you know, it's so funny because that weekend, it just seemed that there were music events all over the place. Now, I happened to be in Fort Lauderdale earlier that day, and they had the Tortuga Music Festival.
Yeah.
You know, there's like you said, thousands that go to that, and that was on the beach. And
Uh-huh.
I think they ran that for 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, because I
Yeah.
was at the Bahia Mar, and they were totally sold out because it was right across the street from where they were. So, and
Yeah.
then there was your event, and from what I understand, Miami had something going on that weekend too. There was some sort of music event going on there. So I think it was just a great weekend for music.
Yes, they had Pride in Miami Beach, Pride. Uh,
Right.
yeah, it was crazy. This past weekend was full of events, and we're grateful that the people that came to our event chose our event because they could have gone anywhere.
Yeah, they could have gone anywhere. It's true.
Hmm.
And you know, the Tortuga event, that's a totally different type of music.
Yeah, it's
Uh
country. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, it's more of a younger crowd, country,
Hmm.
people getting there that want to get on television and just dancing around. But yours is a very serious event because you've got not only yourself, but all the dances that you had and all the entertainment that you've had. And I mean, throughout the years, you've had some top Latin performers that have come out to actually perform for you. And I think it's your event is almost like the Academy Awards. We know every year at a certain time that event's going to take place.
Thank you, Angela. Yeah, it's really exciting what's happening with the event. Just really exciting the things that have come out of it, and
Yeah.
just to be able to give a platform to other people, to children, to other dancers, to other bands, is really gratifying for me as a producer and Christina as well. I mean,
Oh,
I
yeah.
also perform, but we have a great platform for other people that are trying to do music industry or anything that has to do with Latin music. We were able to give four schools a platform to come and dance and show their skills, and your friend Kennedy as well, one of the Miss International. And so for us, it's great. It's a very it's a lot of pride. I have a lot of pride in it because we have really worked hard to keep it going, and
Oh,
to worked hard to express the feelings that we feel about the event itself. We don't want it just to be an event, or a
right.
festival.
It's
So
not. It's a.
yeah,
It really is. It really is a wonderful event. When you walk in, you feel that vibration. You feel that feeling. Everyone is so wonderful. I mean, I spoke to a couple of vendors that would like to even come into the pageant and be vendors there, and I said absolutely. And it was funny because uh, when the Copacabana, when they said to me, they said, oh, we'd like to really get a top-notch Latin singer. I said, don't look any further. I said, I've got her. And they said to me, you do? I said, I'm telling you. And even though, they watched you on the screen, even though they didn't get a chance to see you perform, I said, believe me. I said, if I had to swear on a stack of Bibles, I said, I swear on a stack of Bibles. I said, she's it. And when they saw
thank
the
you.
way it moved and everything, they said, Angela, you know what you're talking about. I said, I know. I said, I've been on stage all my life. I said, I can tell you who's out there, who's doing what. And this was exactly what I told Kennedy. If she had said to me, a couple of her dancers got hurt, she doesn't think she was going to perform. I said, Kennedy, hold it. Because number one, I don't know if you know how big this thing really is. And you never know who's sitting in that audience. You don't know what television station could be there. I said, and Melina, I said, there's a lot of shows. You never know where this could lead to. I said, you and Stash have a great routine. Just the
They
two.
did. They did an amazing job. They really
Oh yeah,
did.
I was pushing that because I said to her, I said, listen, I said, this is Melina. If it was anybody else, I'd tell you, maybe
Mhm.
okay. I said, but this is
Yeah,
Melina. Please go in there and do what you need to do. And then
yeah,
she called Christina up, and Christina even told her, she's, why don't you and Stash just dance? And I know
yeah.
she's going back and forth. And I said, if you don't do this, I said, I'm going to kick your butt. And she laughed. And
She did
she,
a great job. She looked beautiful. She
yes,
was amazing. We have video of it. We have a wonderful picture I'm going to post soon about her performance. And
yes.
we are really grateful that she now knows what it is. It's hard to explain what kind of event it is because it's our event is very different than many events. Hmm.
It is. It's probably one of the biggest events that takes place in the Hollywood area. I mean, there's a lot of them, but this one
Hmm.
happens to, be the best. I mean, because I've gone to a lot of them, and I'm like, but this one here, well, it has a reputation. It's like when I do my pageant, I've been doing it for years, so people know that it takes
Yeah.
place at a certain time. And
Uh-huh.
one of the things that the Copacabana is looking at is to come back to South Florida, because the club was once here, and unfortunately, it didn't stay open very long. It didn't get under the right management. Okay. And I was very surprised because El Canario, when that club opened up, he was the opening act. And
Mm.
there was a line around the door trying to get in to see him. Okay.
Oh wow.
In
Hmm.
fact, was it 2011 or no? Yeah, 2011. I did my pageant at the Copacabana in Fort Lauderdale. You
Hmm.
was standing room only. Okay, we
Yeah.
couldn't get in. So this year the pageant's going to the Bahia Mar, okay, in September. I'll send you the dates for that. And
Okay.
the owner, Jimmy Tate, he loves the Copacabana. I think, I don't know if it was his father or his grandfather was a waiter at the Copacabana.
Mm-hmm.
And he had said to me 2 years ago, he said,
Mm-hmm.
I will build a Copacabana. He said, it may take me 2 years, but I will build it. Now, what I did know is that the Bahia Mar is actually going to come down the end of this year. And Jimmy is putting a St. Regis there. So they are
Mm-hmm.
going to talk about putting a Copacabana in that hotel. This,
Imagine.
yeah,
Nice.
because that would give you an opportunity and other salsa acts and all different type of acts a chance to get in there and
Right.
perform, you know. And
Yeah.
I think it would be a great opportunity because the original Copacabana had a wonderful reputation. All right. And
Mm-hmm.
they want to throw me in there to management. I said, okay. I said, here's my deal. You bring me into management. I'm going to bring Melina in to manage with me.
Oh, I don't know about that.
But
We'll see.
I
It would
that
be nice.
but I said she'd be great to tell me which acts would be great in there. I said, of course. I said she would be great. There's a lot of great acts that would come in, and the Copacabana was not only about salsa, but it was also about top-notch comedians.
Right.
Guys like Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra performed there.
When
So,
are they going to be doing this?
well, this is in the planning stages right now. So I'm
Okay.
going to connect them with the owner of the St. Regis to see how they can work that out. They're going to make another trip down here, okay?
Okay.
But this is something. But when they saw you, they were very pleased. They loved the atmosphere, and I told them, I said, by the end of the night, there'll be at least 10,000 to 11,000 people. I said in
Mhm.
this audience. I said, mark my words. And then when they saw pictures, in fact, I last night I took some of the pictures off of your site and the video of Kennedy and a couple of videos. So we made a video out of it, which we'll post on this show on Thursday as well too.
Okay. Amazing.
Yeah,
Yes.
it it, it was great. And I see you got a salsa cruise coming up in 2027.
Yeah, 2027. And then we have the Miami Beach Salsa Fest that's coming. It's coming up in October. And then I have a few things that are coming up pretty soon. I can't really talk about it right now, but I'm almost about to announce something really awesome. I have to figure
Yep.
out what's happening, and I don't want to say it before it actually happens. So yeah, just keep posted on my pages. I'm also working on some new music. Um, I'm trying to come up with something really cool to record. And yeah, and we're gonna also announce the date for next year's Salsa Fest coming up soon. So we have a lot of stuff going on, but actually I need to rest a little bit because as you can tell, I'm still very tired. I'm just like slow. It's just that everything when you're so busy, everything kind of escalates and you have to keep after it. So now I'm trying to regulate my life again, trying to fix everything in my house and get more normalized after Salsa Fest.
I've been doing that too. I've had to, like take this past weekend to get some things done. I was on Saturday night. Maria had a great birthday party. If Maria's listening,
Oh yeah?
it was
Nice.
fabulous. And she had a great party last Thursday night at the Chamber, and she had a great party at her house on Saturday. It was amazing. Uh,
Uh-huh.
it was more like a Hawaiian feel. She did something a little different.
Oh, I
So
love
yeah,
that.
but when I came home, in fact, I crashed in the car. I was,
Imagine.
yeah. And let me tell you this: if you ever need a gown or ever want anything made, please let me know because I do work with Tina Vida, who is a fabulous designer. She's an international designer.
Mhm.
Let me know because I
Okay.
can connect you with her. She just did the gowns for the Dining Divas, and I was like, she's done a few gowns for me, okay,
Right.
which have been absolutely beautiful. But some of the stuff that I saw Tuesday night at the Dining Divas premiere, my eyes were rolling back in my head, and I called
Amazing.
you. I said, "Oh, I said I got to get Melina with her." So she goes back and forth. She has a house in Tampa, but she also
Okay.
has a house in Weston as well too. So if you ever
Mhm.
need anything, I'll connect the both of you. You know, when she's down here, you can go, her house
Awesome.
looks like a store. Okay. When I walked in there, I said, yeah, the second part of the house, it actually is a store. I said, it's a mess. But she's international
Cool.
too, because she does Paris Fashion Week. She does Milan Fashion Week. She's done New York Fashion Week. She just went to
Mhm.
Las Vegas to do another fashion week. And we do billboards as well, too. We had a billboard in Las Vegas for I got to give you one. We have our own eyeshadow palette now, the Miss International World eyeshadow palette.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll probably come out with another one next year. So we always name a shadow after someone. I would love
Okay.
to name a shadow after you.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And
That's cool.
yeah, and you can promote that. And
Yeah.
yeah, we had Kennedy from the Tower Club because she's Miss International World Global. We had her on a billboard in Vegas promoting that particular um, eyeshadow palette. And these are the things that we can do for you when, if you're going to do a big show. We've done billboards in New York. In fact, when I did the Bahamas Paradise Cruise Line, when you performed for me, I actually had a billboard in New York with the ship.
Yes, I remember that. That was
Yeah.
beautiful.
So yeah, these are all the things that Tina does that we can get into. So
Okay.
just just let me know and I'll just put the word out.
Okay. Sounds great. I love that.
Yeah.
That's
But
cool.
no, you're doing a lot, and I know the next Salsa Fest is going to be what, number 12?
Yes, number 12. I can't believe it. Yes, number 12. Yes, we just got done with 11 and Christina's already looking for a date. So yeah, we're really excited. It's just amazing what has happened in the last decade with the Salsa Fest. It's just kind of taken a life of its own. I work extremely
You
hard.
do.
Like I'm just very, I love it, but it's just a lot of work. And so does Christina. We already kind of have it down, because
Yeah.
we've done it for so many years. But it's still very exhausting. And then right after that, I had the grand opening of Doral Kia, and so
Yeah,
ah,
I saw that.
been nonstop. It's been nonstop. Thank God. I'm very grateful for all the opportunities. But it's just very exhausting. Like
Yeah, it is. It can
yeah,
be. Even though I have the pageant world down, it is. It's very exhausting because right now I'm in the planning. I'm recruiting girls.
mm,
Then I gotta do calls with them to make sure they understand what they're getting into. And
it's a
then
lot.
yeah, and
Hmm.
then combining with the Copacabana, that's like a separate show in itself.
Yeah,
So,
it's a lot.
I know the area down here, which they really don't know.
Hmm.
So I'm like putting everything together. And I think what they want to talk to you about, I think they're going to do a teaser show sometime in June at the Tower Club. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're supposed to
I
see.
do need to call him. I need to call him soon. Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, Frank's another one when he got home because when they flew back on Sunday, they had to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning for a 5 o'clock flight.
Oh wow. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's why they left.
Yeah, so when
Yes.
Frank got home, he was exhausted. In
Yeah.
fact, he said he got home, he went to bed, the flight was good, but he said he didn't get up till the next day.
I know. I get it. I totally understand.
Yeah, I know. I said, I know the feeling. And then, of course, it's not only doing that, you have things in your personal life that you have to do. All right. And
Yeah.
that takes time. Once in a while, you got to say, okay, I got to stop because I've got to do this or,
Yes,
some,
I'm hoping that after this interview, I will get to rest a little bit.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Exactly. This way. Yeah. Get some sleep, take a nap, whatever.
Yes.
And it was funny because a few weeks ago, I had Mary Lopez Palmer on the show. Okay. And she's running, I think she's running for councilwoman. Okay.
Oh, she actually did call me too. We talked a little bit. Yes.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart. She owns Vicky's Bakery.
Yes.
And
Hmm.
we talked about, and I mentioned you on my show then. I said, Mary, I said, Salsa Fest is coming up. I said, you really should get involved if you can. You're not on the campaign trail. And because we got on a conversation about COVID and how things had stopped and how people really had to get back into the swing of things. I said, well, guess
Hmm.
what? I said, during COVID, I said, when none of us could go out and people couldn't even perform, clubs were closed. I said, Melina, every Friday night, it started about 8 or even 9 o'clock. I said, she used to do an hour. She used to perform from her house. I said,
Mhm.
and it was the best. I said, how many people came online? I said, my mother was still alive at that time. I said, my
She was
mother,
so sweet.
yeah, we were dancing in the kitchen. I said, it was absolutely, I said, amazing. I said, everybody looked forward to that on Friday night. I
It's
said,
crazy how that everybody remembers that. And I did it actually I did it for everybody, but I also did it for myself because
yes, because you had
I
to keep,
have to always have something to do. And I just looked forward to every Friday joining with everybody and speaking with everybody through the show, right?
yeah,
Seeing everybody and try to bring joy to everyone. That's what I try to do in my life is to bring joy to everyone.
yes.
You know,
I,
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 yeah,
I
that's
do, yeah, I do the same thing. And, when the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Awards came up and Dee Thompson had asked me about that, I said, Dee, I said, I'll tell you why. I said, she should get it. I said, not only does she empower women, but I told her that whole story about what you did during COVID. I said, she was probably one of the very few that got online on a Friday night. I said, and you know what? When you did that, even myself, I didn't even think about COVID or what was going on in the news for that half hour to hour. Okay, that was it. And I
yeah,
had to make sure that we had dinner. And if dinner was late, I said, "Oh, you can hold it till later. I'll eat a sandwich or something." I said, "I got to get on this." And I had Nasli joining on. I had
I
everybody.
know.
Yeah,
No, it was great, and I appreciate all your support, Angela. That really meant a lot to me too, to be able to connect with everyone. With you and all our friends and fans and all those people that were out there, because it was a very hard time for everyone.
oh,
Everybody's was so scared and everybody was so like, and we don't know what's going to happen. So for me, that was the way that I could, so, help,
yeah,
help and bring people's hopes up. Every time I would be on, we really wouldn't talk. We would just dance and, we really wouldn't talk about anything that was going on in the
right.
news or anything because it was horrible.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was
horrible.
horrible. It was horrible. I said the other day, I said, geez, I hope they don't start World War III. I said, because then it'll be another horrible time
Crazy.
where nothing goes out and nothing can come in. I said, no,
Yeah.
we don't need that. But
No.
hopefully, I always say, hopefully things always work out. But no, it was really a tough time. But you did shine a big light on that. And
Thank you.
that's where I think Zoom meetings became so popular because
Yes.
during that
Yes.
time, people weren't doing meetings. They weren't going face to face. I remember
Yes.
ordering groceries and putting the mask on, getting in the car and have somebody put it in the trunk.
Yes.
Even
Yes.
I was afraid to go out. But
Yes.
excuse me for 1 minute. I should have put this on. There we go. It wasn't. I was supposed to take that off the hook.
Ah.
Okay, there it is. It's off the hook. That was a mistake I made. But anyway, well, when they edit it, they'll edit that part out. But that's why my other
Yeah.
phone's on vibrator. No TV is on. The door is closed. I forgot to take that off the hook. So one little mistake, and I normally do that ahead of time. But
Yeah.
no, anyway, like I said, it was, and what's so funny because my mother that time she was 90, and she never even got a sniffle, nothing. Okay,
Yes.
I couldn't believe it. I said, everybody else was coughing, wheezing, and sneezing. Some people got a mild case of COVID before the vaccines came out. Some wound out in the hospital. She didn't get a thing. But we kept her in the house, okay? And when it was time to go back out, I made her wear a double mask because of her age. And
Right.
finally, when the vaccine came out, and this is a true story, I'll never forget this. I mean,
Hmm.
when Joe Biden became president and they started to get the vaccines out. And you had to sit like it was Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and you had to sit and go through this whole thing with Publix. All right, you had to get in the queue,
Yes.
and nothing was happening. So I got this wild idea because I've always got wild ideas. I've been that way since I've been a kid. I said, you
Hmm.
know what? I'm going to write to the White House. I'm going to write to the president. Probably won't get an answer. I said, but I'm going to give it a shot. And I got online and I said, Mr. President, I'm not here to criticize anybody. That's not my style. I said, however, I said, my husband's a veteran. My mother is a daughter and a wife of a veteran. I said, and more from my mother, who's 90 years old. We can't seem to get the vaccine. I said, I don't know if there's anything you could do. I said, but I know you campaigned on this. I said, if you could, we greatly appreciate it. The very next day, the veterans called my husband. They made an appointment for him to get
Wow.
the shot. That night, the Palm Beach Medical Division called me, and the woman said to me, she said, Tamara, she said, we can only take one of you. I said, take my mother. She said, no, no,
Mm.
you know what? She said, let me make room for the two of you. We went down there and we were online, and they were checking your names and everything to make sure you registered. The woman said to me, oh, you're the two that got the White House VIP treatment. I said, I, I,
Imagine.
I did. But, I took a shot with that.
Yeah.
It could have went nowhere because I think
Yeah.
everybody and their brother was riding at the White House that time. But you never
Yeah.
know. And
Yeah.
I always tell people it's how you talk to someone and how you state your case. If I
Right.
would have screaming and this and that and then talk about that one, and no, I just
Hmm.
put my facts on the table. I said, I'm not here to criticize anybody. I'm not even here to criticize my governor. I said, he's got
Yes.
a school right now with people trying to get, I said, I'm just looking for a pathway. So I said, I could do my part to protect other
Hmm.
people and to protect my family.
Right.
It was
Well,
done.
that's great.
That,
Wow.
that was,
Yeah, I stood in line for 8 hours in my car. Hours, hours, hours,
oh
hours.
yeah, and I remember when everybody they made you get tested, and you had to go down to where the parks were, and I'm like,
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's
but at
crazy.
least I was able to keep the air conditioner on, the windows up. My
It
mother
was a
had a mask.
crazy time. Crazy time. Very
Yeah,
crazy time.
in my whole life, I never thought I'd live through that. I lived through a lot.
Yes. No. I mean, it's insane, like what we went through. It was, I don't know. It seems like another time in another place.
It does.
Like,
And I always tell people, I said, it's all in the past. I said, we go forward now. I said, that we know what's there, you know what to protect yourself with, and you just go forward. And it's a funny thing, you never know. You could go outside and get hit by a car. That's what I tell people. I said, you don't know what your fate is, don't know
yeah,
what the last day is. I said, so just
yeah,
get out and enjoy yourself. I said,
yeah.
me,
Do your best and enjoy yourself. Yeah.
I tell people, I said, no matter where I wind up, whether it's here or in the next life, I'm going to be tap dancing on some corner. I said, so don't even get out the box of tissues and cry. I said, just,
Imagine.
yeah, that's what I tell people. I said, just think of me in Studio 54 and dancing to Disco Inferno.
That's me and salsa. Salsa and
Yes, that's right. That's awesome. And it's funny. They probably thought it probably did put a statue to me somewhere. My name is probably there somewhere because I lived in that place when Studio 54 was open. I
uh-huh.
was telling people, I said, when disco was in Thursday night, I was at the Soap Factory, which I didn't live too far from. That was in Jersey, and that was a pretty famous club. They used to have all the big disco acts
Uh-huh.
there. So Friday night, I slept. Saturday night, the Studio 54. Unless I was sick or I had a wedding or something I had to go to. But Saturday night, oh yeah, I was
That's
like a fixture in that place. Okay. And it was
that's
a crazy
awesome. I can imagine that.
and it was a crazy club, let me tell you. It was
Wow.
I mean, I
Yeah.
never went upstairs or got involved in some of the crazy stuff. I went there just for the music and to dance. But I'd have to say, for its time, it did get a lot of celebrities walk through the door. You know,
Right.
Michael Jackson was in there. Liza Minnelli was in there. You had Sylvester Stallone was in there. I mean, you never know who was going to walk through the door. Of course, they had
Yeah.
a private room where they went, and
I've
served them.
seen the documentary on that, so I know.
Oh, yeah, believe me, it's crazy. But isn't it funny because it had its time and it really only lasted about 2, 3 years. Okay.
Hmm.
Where they
Hmm.
were saying with the Copacabana, that name has gone on almost forever. Okay.
Yes.
Copacabana started what in the late 40s, early 50s. They
Yeah.
still have a club in New York, but they want to bring it back to the way the old Copacabana was.
I think
Where
now is
people
a good time to do that. I think people are very open, especially with Latin music. All these artists, younger artists that are doing fusioning salsa and tropical music with their art. I think it's a great moment. We saw it at the festival. We had a lot of younger people, a lot of
Yes.
younger people, a lot. And I think it had to do also because we had an ad, we had a lot of support from iHeartMedia, but
Yeah.
just the fact that younger people are open to exploring salsa music, exploring tropical music in that way, which salsa was supposed to be an older person's music. Uh,
No.
is not anymore, and I feel like people are really open to coming to our festivals, to seeing new things, and experiencing what salsa music is really. Hmm.
Exactly. And I agree with you 100%. And that happened during the 60s, okay, when the British invasion came in and rock music started to come in.
Hmm.
Santana did something that was different, okay,
Hmm.
and that's what made Carlos Santana famous.
Hmm.
He was Latin, but he knew that the rock music was popular. So what did he do?
Hmm.
He was known as Latin rock, and that's what made
Hmm.
him. He crossed over. He did the Latin music, but it was a
Uh-huh.
little bit of a rock beat, okay? Um, and that's what made him okay. That's what just made him take off in the charts. But not only the
Right.
fact that he was a great guitar player. Now, when he does the shows down here, because I don't know if you've ever seen him in concert. I have, okay,
Hmm.
but because he knows there's a big Latin community here, he opens up with salsa music. Believe it or not, to this
Yeah.
day, that's what he
Wow.
does. And then he gets into the Woodstock thing. Okay,
Yeah.
second part of the show, well, they close the drapes or the curtain comes down,
Hmm.
and all you hear is that guitar start playing, and then you see the smoke coming out. It's it's Woodstock time. All right,
Right.
you see the weed being pulled out,
Yeah.
and he opens up, and the second half of the show is pretty much like what he did with Woodstock and all. But yeah, his
Hmm.
first half of the show, that's how. But that's great because he's bringing two crowds together. He's
Right.
bringing a crowd that's going to remember the Woodstock music, but at the same time, he's appealing to the people he needs to appeal to,
Hmm. Hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
And he's done a lot of genres. I mean, he's crossed over into pop. I mean, when he put that one girl in, I'm trying to think of the song that he made, All in the Game of Love. That was
Yes.
more, it had a Latin beat, but it was more like in
Yes.
a pop, okay?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so he's done a lot. And I have to say, that's why he went down as one of the greats because he knew how to cross over and all that different type of music.
Yeah. I think now I think people are more accepting of it without having to cross over, which is
Yes.
amazing. It's like people just, I think it's because there's a lot of Latin people that are here now. So it's
Yes.
more acceptable because popular music is more Latino now. So like Bad Bunny always talking in Spanish, and all the other people that have done, all the other artists that have done stuff in Spanish that chart even in the American
Yeah,
places, in the American charts. So for us, it's a great time for Latin music.
it is. It is a great time, and I'm glad to see it come back. I was very surprised, and it shocked me. I mean, Bad Bunny did the Super Bowl.
Uh-huh.
I thought when one of the singers came out that it was Christina Aguilera. It was actually Lady Gaga. I didn't realize
Yes.
until her name flashed. I said, Lady Gaga. But then again, she's Italian.
Yes.
So for her to sing in Spanish, it's very easy because the language is very similar. Okay.
Right. Well, she's
It's
very
very,
talented, and she's super talented. She
oh
sounded
my
great. I thought it was beautiful.
yeah,
Beautiful.
she sounded. But
Hmm.
when I first looked at her, I really thought it was Christina Aguilera. I said, "No, it's no." Then when the name flashed, I said, "Lady Gaga." I said, "Geez." I said, I knew she was talented, but I didn't know she was like over the top. I mean, the times when she sang with Tony Bennett, nobody would have thought that she could have done that kind of music. Okay,
Yes.
but
Yes.
she does.
She
You know,
surprises. She surprised everybody.
oh, she's always coming up with something. I mean, if she came out with some new type of music today, it wouldn't surprise me because that's the way she is. And a
Yeah.
lot of people just looked at her, oh, well, she's,
Yes. She's
yeah,
very eclectic.
yeah, that's the
Hmm.
word for it. I was trying to think of that
Yes.
word. Yeah, she's that way.
Hmm.
And even in the opera world, they're finding out the Metropolitan Opera, a lot of young people are going to see the operas.
Yeah, no, I think it's like a renaissance of the old. It's like a renaissance coming back. And I was banking on that for a really long time with our salsa fest and all the salsa things we do. And finally, I think we're here. I think it's here to stay. And I'm very, very grateful to everybody that came, that supports me and supports the festival. It's just, I'm still looking at the videos. I'm still seeing like everybody that came, and just
Right.
very grateful to everybody.
Yeah, no, it was great. And you had a lot of excellent support there. And like I said, I'm waiting now for 2027. I'm
Oh
like,
my gosh, I need a break for a little bit.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know. When I get done with the pageant, and people say, when is next year? I said, give me a couple of months to get my head
Yes.
back. You know, because when I do it in September, then I'm right on top of the Christmas. Okay,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
uh, I'm right on top of the
Moves
Christmas.
quickly.
Yeah, because then Winterfest has they have their launch party in October. Then they
Hmm.
have their family fun day in November. Then it's
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. And then before I know it, it's the Winterfest Black Tie Gala. And then it's the Grand
Fast.
Party. And then it's the parade. So it's like one right after the other. People say,
Yes.
how did you find time to decorate? I said, yeah, in my dreams. I said, I
Yep.
do.
It's all very fast. Everything moves very fast nowadays. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Super
I
busy.
can't believe that we're almost at the end of April going into May 1st.
Yes. My birthday's next month, June.
All
June.
right. Oh, in fact, people were talking about the Kentucky Derby. I said, "Oh, that's right." I said, "That's May the 2nd." The Kentucky.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mother's Day. Yep.
Exactly.
Lots of stuff coming up.
Oh, everything. Yeah, everything. Now, then it gets a little quiet towards the end of June, July, and August because it's summertime. People do go
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
But again, but I find now even July and August, there's always something going on.
Yeah. Yeah. There's always something around here. But
Yeah, exactly. And but once you get past Labor Day, once you get to October 1st, then you're like
mhm,
right back into season again. You get that little bit of a break,
yes.
late
I'm
June.
actually looking forward to the summertime. I want to go to the beach and relax a little bit, and I still sing and stuff, but it's a lot more calm the
Yeah,
summertime.
it's a lot
Mhm.
calmer. Yeah, exactly. I'm gearing up because my event's in September, but it
Yeah.
gives me time to get more things together
Hmm.
because, like you say, a lot of people are going on vacation. Who's doing this? Who's doing that? So it
Hmm.
does give me that break. But no, like
Yeah.
I said, you did a heck of a job, and I'm so glad that all the people came out to support you. And I'm
Thank
sure
you.
Christina needs a rest too.
Yeah, she was at the beach this weekend. I couldn't get to the beach, but she was at the beach. She's
She was,
resting. She's doing good. She did an amazing job this year. I'm very grateful to have such a good business partner and co-producer. She really did a great job. Really great. Really
yeah,
great. Yes.
yeah, she did a great. Who was that one girl? She had the red dress on. She was a heck of a singer. Uh,
Um, oh yeah, Isabela Slava. She's Peruvian. She's only
Peruvian.
like 23. She's excellent.
That's it. She's only 23. Oh my God.
Yes.
She was amazing. I was
Yes,
like,
she's very
whoa,
good.
yeah.
Very
Well,
good.
everybody on that show was great.
We had
Every,
a lot of really amazing women singers this year. Jessie was great. Isabella
yeah,
was great. We have a gentleman from Venezuela, Felix, that was great. We just had everybody was so good. It was just a really I believe, well balanced show that showed um, everybody's everybody's strong points. Moncho was great as well at the end.
yes, yes. I was
Um,
just going to mention him. Yeah.
yeah. Ritmo Dance Studio was amazing. That was with me in the dance in the show. It was just great. Like I look back on it. I'm looking at the videos now. They just gave them to me like 2 days ago, and I look at every single video and we're gonna start posting some performances and everything. So yeah, I'm just really excited. I'm when I look back and see what we created, I'm super proud. Super proud.
Yeah, exactly. And it really, like I said, I kept telling people, and that's why I had told Kennedy, I said, you really have to see it. I said, to know exactly, I said, what this is all about. And when she went there, and of course, when she danced, now she understands. I said, now, I said, for next year,
Mhm.
because she does have a routine with all her dancers, the Copa girls.
Right.
She does a whole routine to the song, the Copacabana, and that's like four of her girls that dance. But when she told me Duke got hurt, in fact, she just finished the salsa cruise. She just did something up in Tampa. She came back today. So
Okay.
yeah, I forgot what ship was she was on, but she did tell me she was up in Tampa. So and I think and that's what I said to her. I said, no, the more you're out there, the more you're going to get known. Uh,
Mm,
I'm not sure if she's going to start her own dance studio. She was managing a Fred Astaire dance studio, but
okay.
she has since left. So she's probably going to do something on her own now. And of course, every third Friday, I think at the Marriott, she has an event. She has like it's a salsa night where they have dancers come in. She has a DJ. In fact, I think she was trying to hook up to get you there, but I know you were just so busy trying to get
Yeah.
ready for the show. But she'll get
Yeah, no.
there again. So if you could ever get there, it is good. It is a good.
Okay.
I usually go. In fact, when she first started out, she didn't get that many people. Now, when you go, you can't even get up there. It's like packed from 9:30
Nice.
to midnight. Yeah,
Okay. I'll
it's a,
try
yeah,
it.
it's definitely a great place if you're doing something to advertise. But anyway, I know we've got a couple of minutes left. So anything you want to say to our viewers? Any last words or?
Oh, I just want to say thank you, Angela, for always supporting me and my endeavors. And, I'm always here to support you. And, we just have to support each other as women in business and entertainment.
Yes,
I think it's really important to have people like yourself and mentors that are always there supporting you. And for me, I want to be also that person that supports other people, and giving them a platform in my platform, right? So I'm just really grateful to everyone that came to the event, and to everybody that supported, like yourself, Angela, and your friends, and the people that came. And I'm just really grateful. And just follow me on Instagram, Melina Salsa Music, and on Facebook, Melina Salsa. We are doing a lot of great things, and just keep doing what you're doing. Everybody needs to keep going, and you'll get there. I'm a
that,
testament to that.
exactly. That's right. And if Maria is listening next year, I keep telling her she's got to come to Salsa Fest so she could
Yeah.
take a break, dance around a little bit. Maria definitely needs to come there. And you probably might have heard me in the beginning credits on May 14th at the Civic Center. Okay, in Sunrise, they're going to have one of their events. Okay, so if you
Okay.
do anything that day, it's a free event. Definitely stop by. I'll be there.
That is right. Yes.
There's going to be a lot going on. And of course, I know Jacqueline is a big supporter of you, Jacqueline Guzman.
Yes. 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 She's a great person. Yes. She's a
Yeah, and
wonderful supporter too.
yeah, she's another one that's a wonderful supporter. In fact, I just did a video for her for Heart Sisters. It was
Yes.
online,
Hmm.
and she, she was so proud of some of the things that I've done that she made sure that I got the proclamation for International Women's Month. So
Awesome.
yeah, she's great. But
Great.
anyway, dear, as it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Anytime you
Thank
want
you.
to promote anything, just let me know. Hey, I got a new artist. I've got this. I've got that. We'd love to
Thank you.
have you on the show. And to all my viewers out there, I hope you will enjoy this segment. Okay, it will be coming up live this Thursday. We've got a beautiful video that's going to be behind this. That is all planned out. It's just amazing. And remember that every Thursday, okay, our show is live. But remember to always tune in every week to Make Our World Do Runway, because you never know who's going to be on the show. And again, subscribe to the Global Trade Chamber YouTube channel so that you can see all the shows from Make Our World Do Runway and Success Stories. So, Melina, big hug.
Thank you, Angela. Have a great day.
Take
Thank
care. Bye
you.
bye now.